a choice. I gotta raise my voice. I'm little but I'm loud. I ain't fooling around. Just ask anybody here in town. Lift me up, don't turn me down.
Oh, that's right. Penny and I were little, but we're loud, and we're so proud to be here on the air with you. I got my original snack stealer right here with me. Where am I going? Here I am. The snack stealer is looking for what is in the cup. Let's let Penny have a little treat here this morning. That's right, with the snack stealer cup. She has her position. How you doing this morning? Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm Ann Eller. I'm here with Penny. We're here for coffee, tea, community, stories, and more. That's right. And who knows what we'll get into this morning, but it is time for me and Penny. That's right. We're both on the screen here this morning. I don't know. I must have messed up the cameras, but they look pretty good. So maybe we got something new we'll try. Anywho, how are you doing this morning? You know, one of the things that I got to say is that really spurs me on is when I have somebody send me an unsolicited, I might add, unsolicited text message or see somebody out and they always say this: I listen to you every day, Ann. That just makes my day to know all the people that are out there just tuning us in, tuning us up. And also, though, goes to a big responsibility that I make sure I've got the intel and info that you want to hear about. So, anyways, let's get started. Rev your engines, because we got to buckle up. We're ready for a show here today. Woohoo! First off, though, let's start out with the weather. It feels heavy outside today. Right now it's 82 degrees, and we are looking for a high today of 89. What else we got here? Looks like we're going to have high of... What day is it? Is it Thursday? Is it Thursday? High of 95, low of 73. Looks like we may get some sunshine this morning. Scattered thunderstorms developing this afternoon. High around 95. Chance of rain is at 50%. Tomorrow is Friday. Woo. Friday. We're looking at a high, folks, of 96 degrees, low of 74, and about a 15% chance of rain. Saturday comes in with a high of 97, low of 74, 20% chance of some showers, maybe in the afternoon, supposed to be mainly sunny. Sunday, high of 96. Monday, a high of 99. Basically, every evening we fall down to around 74 degrees, but the next day it sure heats up. Tuesday, 97. All next week is going to be, here's my prediction, a scorcher, and not really much opportunity for any rain. So, one of the things you want to consider is, what are you doing for your pets out there? Penny is always concerned about her friends that have to stay outside. In fact, Penny, she goes outside. She loves to go outside. But let me tell you, we're out there in the heat for a little bit. She loves to chase a Frisbee. But I'm going to tell you what, on a hot day, maybe 3 or 4, and then she looks at it and she looks at me and she goes, why don't you go get it? I can't wait for fall when I can actually get her out there and run her, and she loves running and jumping and all this kind of stuff. But anyways, it's hot. Consider what you're doing for your pets. You cannot, in all good conscience, leave a pet outside with water in a bowl that is a metal bowl and expect that they're going to be able to drink it, because that metal bowl will make that water heat up. Consider using plastic I don't know, porcelain, something else that doesn't heat up the way that does. But 2, consider putting an iced bottle, take a water bottle, fill it not all the way to the top, put it in the freezer, let it freeze overnight, and then put it out there. At least it will keep the water from getting so hot for many hours. But be aware of it. Make sure you have a place where your dog can get out of the sun. This is unconscionable weather for humans, but also for pets. So that's just a little FYI from Penny this morning. Now, what else have we got to talk about? We have some good stories to talk about here this morning. Let me get on the right page. One story I hope I have a chance to get to is about estate sales getting competitive. That's a story I found this morning in the Wall Street Journal. Don't know if we'll get to that one today or not, but that one looks like a good coffee talk topic here for today. But here's what we've got for stories here today. Well, South Carolina finally has a budget. There'll be some other people, though, that are going to be unhappy about the budget because no earmarks, about $380 million, remains unspent rather than being distributed through those earmark projects. So we'll get into that in just a minute. We also have the Senate runoff is now official. We have Ralph Norman and Darlene Graham Nodine. Yeah, I was talking to some people. Well, wait, let's see. Let's just keep going. So we got the Senate runoff. We'll talk about that. They have a debate. They have a debate coming up, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the budget, and I have a story about what hospitals, I don't know whether it's all hospitals, but I read this story about what hospitals do when someone becomes an organ donor. Such a good story. So I hope we have an opportunity to share that this morning. So then we've got, of course, what's coming up around Greenwood over the weekend, and next weekend we'll be talking about some of the events like that. And also this afternoon, Lisa Sanders joins me with the great reveal. No, she's not having a baby. She's revealing the season for Greenwood Performing Arts right here on WCRS. So Greenwood Performing Arts celebrating, I think it's 80, is it 80 years? I think 80 years. Of course, WCRS, 85 and still going strong. Just thought I'd mention that. But 80 years, and they are really planned a great season. Can't wait to hear all about it. And so hope you will stay tuned for that this afternoon. That'll be coming up at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Woo! All right. So this is what we're going to talk about this morning. Penny may interrupt because she may decide that she doesn't like the direction of the show, and if that's the case, she will. And if she decides it's just boring and she has no interest, she'll do that too. She is a free spirit, aren't you, Penny? Except if I don't get snacks, and then I can get rather cranky. All right, let's get started on a couple of things. The budget. This is a worthy topic to talk about. Well, let's talk about the Senate runoff. Let's get that out of the way. We have 2 candidates now for the Senate runoff. Ralph Norman, who knows his way around Washington, D.C. very well. He's been in the Senate for, 7 to 8 years. He is finishing up at the Senate, hopes to go on to the, he's finishing up in the House and hopes to go on to the Senate. I think this is there's 2 challengers, and, we really have a choice and you need to decide which direction you think is going to go best. But anyways, they are both the candidates, Darlene Graham Nodine. I do think it's interesting that she's not using her last name, or at least a hyphenated name, Graham Nodine, something like that, because it just kind of, from what I have talked to people, they are not too pleased, and this is just in my observations out there and talking to people. They aren't too pleased that she's treading on Graham's name. Of course, a lot of other people would say, but why not? She's got the name. Why not? What do you think? 864-332-9355. Also, of course, you can jump right in on our Facebook Live page, because this morning we be Facebook Live. That's right. Penny and I pulled it together to be Facebook Live this morning. But anyways, so we have Darlene, kind of an unknown commodity. We can know what she says. We can know who her brother was. We can know how she's raised. We can know the job that she did for the state with the Office of in Disabilities of the Blind. But do we know what kind of politician we will be? That, I think, is the question. The other thing is to think about, and this is just me musing out loud with you here. Most people start out on let's say on a county office or a statewide office. Very rarely do they end up going to the top. And I would consider the Senate right near the top. Above that, be running for president, which of course Donald Trump did do. A politician who did not have any background in politics other than being political in how he accomplished his missions as a businessman. But that does beg a question. How will she be able to do? And there's a lot of other people out there, although they say, quote, she is a lovely person. How will she do in politics? How will she do in negotiation? What really are her topics? Well, Ralph Norman, on the other hand, is probably a better known commodity because he has been in politics. In fact, he's been in state government, he's been in the House, and he ran for governor. And of course, everybody on Graham's side will be combing through every word he ever said to see if they can find something to trip him up. But and that's the nature of politics. Of course, on Darlene's side, for the Norman side, pretty hard to have anything to try to trip somebody up with if you don't have a background. But that being said, there is going to be a debate Tuesday, August 18th at the Newberry Opera House with early voting beginning the next day on the 19th through the 21st. And the actual runoff date is August 25th. So this will be your one opportunity really to see them side by side on the stage and to see how this comes together. You know, some of the questions. Is Norman going to attack Darlene's lack of record? Is Darlene going to attack the fact that he's older and said he was going home to play with his grandkids? Those are just a couple of topics that hit me right off the top of my head. So, of course, Darlene does have Trump's endorsement. And she doesn't have much else, but she has that. Also, I think it's worthy to note that Tim Scott is very definite in her court. But still, it's a very thin layer to know what the commodity that you may be voting for if you vote for Darlene. Now, Ralph Norman, you're probably going to know what to expect. But is he too old? That's the question. Is he too old? I don't know. These are things that people have to ask for themselves. And hopefully in that debate on August 18th at the Newberry at the Newberry Opera House, we'll get some answers. So I just wanted to mention that. Let's move on and talk about something that is near and dear to everybody on top of politics is the budget. The legislature passed the $15 million budget 6 weeks into the fiscal year. Bravo, bravo. No legislature requested earmarks made the final budget. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be very unhappy about this. Even some in our local area. That means that some of these things that they worked hard to try to get to the finish line will not be going across the finish line. There still is about $380 million unspent rather than being distributed through those projects. But the senior homestead exemption goes from $50,000 to $75,000 of home value. Let's see. That's backed by another $81 million going into the counties. Teacher starting pay raises from $48,500 to $50,000. Now that was a signature item for Governor McMaster. So actually it goes to $50,500. So it raises it $2,000. And of note, I think we should note that some counties pay more than that for starting pay, but that raises the the level all across the states, the minimum. Other counties may decide to pay more. State employees, what is wrong with you, Ann Eller? State employees get 2% raises. Penny said she'd like to get a 2% raise. You know, what's 2% of zero? She wants to know. I think a lot of people would like to say, I'd get a 2% raise. But anyways, they're getting a 2% raise. And it also incorporates $309 million in state income tax reductions. But McMaster can still veto any parts of it. Interesting question. Do you think he'll veto it, or he'll just say, I'm just going to sign it and get this out of the way? That would be the question. So 864-332-9355 if you'd like to weigh in on that. If you would not, we'll move on. You can also make a comment right there on Facebook Live. So we are right here on Facebook Live this morning, WCRS Radio. Okay, we got some comments coming in on Facebook Live. We're going to come back to those nearer to the end of the show, so stay tuned. You can always go on our Facebook page and make a comment. But let's keep moving on here this morning so I can try to get most of my stuff in here this morning. Let's see, what have we got? So the question really on the budget, after all the fighting, did the inability to agree on hundreds of millions in earmarks actually produce a more restrained budget? I don't know. They had a committee. They were going to pass this, what shall we call it, bare bones budget. $15 billion. Yeah, bare bones. They were going to pass that bare bones budget, and then they were moving on the earmarks to a conference committee of both House and Senate. And instead, it kind of blew up, and so nothing is happening at this point. And so, I don't know. Will they come together and decide to work on it? Will that money, like they said, that money's unspent, so it'll be there for next year's budget. You know, here's the question. Why should we have money sitting there for next year's budget? We already know how much of a surplus we had. What was it? $1 to $2 billion surplus. And then the next question that I have raised due to some conversations we've had earlier, would South Carolina be better served writing a 2-year budget instead of going through this every year? I think there is validity to that. If the only way it's valid, though, is if they're working along on it during those 2 years rather than waiting till the last 6 weeks to do the budget. I don't know about you, but when I've got a deadline, I can power through. When I know I've got weeks or months to do something, it's real hard to power through, isn't it? But I would be interested in what you think about that. Do you think a 2-year budget, or should we keep on with this every year, occupying so much time of the legislature to do just a 1-year budget and then have them fail? Anyways, I consider it's kind of a failure if they couldn't negotiate what they wanted. I also, just this is personal opinion, think $50,000 to $75,000 for a homestead exemption is that's not right. That's not right. If you're going to give a deduction, give something of substantial. And, a legislature can say, well, 25,000, that's substantial. And no, it's not. Houses today have values of 150, 200,000. I mean, that's just a regular house anymore. Should not the tax deduction, the homestead exemption, particularly for seniors, and this is what we're talking about, seniors, should it not be higher? Why not go bold? Go 100,000, 125. Do I hear 150? I'm an auctioneer today. Yeah, no, I don't know, but I just think that they're missing the boat on this. But you wait. When it's election year for the whole crew, and it actually is. It is. It's the governor and a lot of the Senate is not, but there are some people, and the House, of course, is up. I'm surprised. Actually, I am surprised that they didn't make a bolder choice for this year on the budget. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Love to get your input this morning on that. I think we should go back and look at a couple of the questions that we have on or not questions, but comments on Facebook Live this morning. We were talking about the weather here earlier, and it is hot, hot, hot. Going to be going into the last half of August at 95 plus. People, adults, and we talked about pets and everything, need to be very careful. Stephanie said, growing up, I always heard the older folks say they cannot tolerate the cold, but I have found as I have gotten older, I cannot tolerate the heat. I can't tolerate, I agree, but I think the thing that is bothering me is the air feels so heavy. Either that or my lungs aren't working good. Your lungs are working fine, Ann. Yeah, there you go. But I really feel outside that it's very hard to breathe sometimes. And I've talked to several people that have said that. And also when it came to the story about Darlene Graham Nodine, Stephanie said, maybe she's riding on the coattails of her brother, and that makes sense. After all, she has the support of Trump. But that, let's see, what does she say? But that may be because she will do whatever he asked her to do. And I think she raises a good question. Is Darlene going to be an independent, all-in thinker for South Carolina? Or will her vote be a trump card? Ha! Will her vote be a trump card when it comes to making sure that she votes the way Trump wants the vote to grow, or the Republicans that Trump wants the vote to go? I think that is an important point. Where will she come down when it comes down to vote? I have no doubt that her staff can guide her in the right directions and this type of thing. But will she be an independent thinker for South Carolina? Will she, if something doesn't look good for South Carolina, will she still raise her hand, vote accordingly for the Senate vote? That's the question, and that's the question you have to ask yourself. I'm Ann Eller right here with you this morning. It is just a little after 10 o'clock in the morning. Top of the hour to you. I think I'll have a sip of tea. So delicious. And with the snack stealer, like a little snack here this morning? Yes, would you like a snack stealer? Would you like one? Put the cup over here closer so I don't have to sit up. What is the deal? Here you go. Here you go, Penny. I thought maybe she'd sit up for us, but no. All right, so let's move on and talk about another story, one that I read several days ago. And I didn't realize that they did this. But it is a story that I thought was worthy of talking about. And I just want to see if I can find the actual story here, because it's about a boy who died after battling a long disease and what the hospital did for it. And I just thought it was a great story. If not, I've got my shortened version right here. A little boy named Bo Worthy, 4 years old, but saves 4 lives. You know, there was Bo Worthy of Columbia, and when he died, his parents decided to offer his organs to save another life. And I'm sure probably, since he was 4, probably these were children's lives. When he did, at a most horrific time of these parents' lives, they've just lost their battle with their little boy, who had battled for, I think, a couple of years, at least a couple of years. More than 300 people in the hospital lined the hall as they walked his body to donate his organs. Bo's heart, liver, kidneys, and pancreas helped save 4 lives. And the parents wrote this article, and they wrote it after, I think it had been about a year before they wrote this article, and how meaningful it was for their little boy to have that final walk through the hospital that he had spent a lot of time in, a hospital where a lot of people knew him. And I think it is so significant that they lined the halls and gave the family that ultimate respect. You know, we don't always talk about organ donation, but organ donation does save or help give longer lives to a lot of people. And I'm sure maybe you have it on your license, maybe you don't, the little heart that says you're an organ donor. But the very fact that this family did this and then walked the halls and the people stood there in the halls, just really meant, I think, a lot to that family, and they call it the honor walk. An entire hospital stopping to recognize both the person being lost and the extraordinary gift of 4 organs, heart, liver, kidneys, and pancreas. I just think really says a lot about our society, our caring, and our hope. And, you know, Bo lived 4 years, just 4 years that family had him. And because his family said, yes, on the worst day imaginable. 4 other people were given another chance at life. That's quite a legacy for one little boy, and I'm sure brought a lot of comfort to the family. You know, that story is tremendous and sits very heavy on my heart. But I did not know that at Self Regional, I'm not sure what they do on that, but I did find out that when a veteran dies, if it is requested, I believe, they will do a hospital walk where they bring everybody out in the hospital to give that final salute, that final goodbye to someone who gave their life for our country. Well, not for our country, but a veteran who fought for our country. And I thought, what a tremendous send-off, and what maybe a sense of caring it shows from the hospital, and what a sense of caring it shows to the family as they walk the body down to the end. But I didn't know that we did that. I didn't know that when Jeff died. I'm not sure I would have wanted to do that, but I thought it was a very heartfelt for those who do want that, So anyways, sometimes we don't realize how important it is to recognize the value of the lives that are lived, and that life goes on. So, what do you think about that? 864-332-9355. What do you think about lining the halls of a hospital as a family is taking their child or loved one for organ donation? What do you think about having a final honor walk in the hospital for that veteran who is no longer with us as they take the body and the family down the hallway? I think it says a lot about caring and our appreciation of life. What do you think? 864-332-9355. And if you'd like to comment on Facebook Live, you know I'm right here on Facebook Live. 864-332-9355. We're also on Facebook Live at WCRS Radio. Love to get your comments. Yes, would love to get your comments on that. It's a sad story, but it's a hopeful story. And that's why I wanted to cover that today, because sometimes we just need to stop and say, yes. So, Penny, what do you say? Have you got anything to talk about here today? Yes. What have you got to say? Well, this Saturday, really, are you awake? This Saturday is kitten yoga at the Humane Society. And also, I saw a little bit about the Humane Society needing help spreading all this mulch that was brought to the Humane Society. And they say if you can come spend just an hour helping spread it, it would be great. They're having to do it with wheelbarrows, shovels. They're having to do it the old-fashioned way. So if anybody could help, they surely would appreciate it. That was actually a post that Penny and I came across. You know, I love sitting here with Penny looking at Facebook, because we'll be scrolling through Facebook. All of a sudden, she takes her paw and slaps it down on the keyboard and says, "Stop right now!" So I wanted to make sure I covered that story, because Penny thought that was a good story. That was a good story. So take that, if you will. The Humane Society got a huge load of of mulch, and they have not been able, could not pay to have it spread or something, so they are doing it by hand. They got about half of it done, and they'd love some extra help. So if you want to go out and help them out there, they would love that. All right, so that's one thing that is going on. Is that the penny story for the day? I guess. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. What else we got to talk about? Okay. Coming up this weekend, we have some, of course, we always have events going on. I will say, I was kind of excited because I'd seen that I had seen that the Rat Pack was going to be over in Abbeville, and yet when I went to look, I don't think it is. I don't know what the disconnect is there, or if it was a misprint. I don't know what it is, but the bottom line is I did not see that as going on this weekend, nor could I find it coming up futuristically. So maybe that's a misprint. I don't know. All right, but let's talk about some of the events coming up. Princess Tea Parties this Saturday. Whoops. Excuse me. Princess Tea Party's coming up this Saturday. So if you have a princess that would like to go, Penny says that she'd be up for it. I could dress her up in her little nice dress, and she goes, I don't think I have a tiara. You don't have a tiara? No, but I've got some pretty hats. Okay, well, maybe you get to go. All right, they've got the princess carriage. They've got all kinds of treats, activities. 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock is when that's going on. $30 for princesses, $15 for accompanying adult. So that is going on. Oh, what else have we got going on? Well, let's see if I get the right one. Here we go. This is the one I need. Yes, here we go. This is going on this Saturday. We've got... let's see. Jason Ringberg takes the stage of the Fiddle and Bow Music Hall of Southern Folk Art Gallery in Honeypath. Like I've told you before, this is a great venue to visit. Every week he has great artists coming through. You should go in and follow the Fiddle and Bow. They are on Facebook. I think they also have a website you can check out. So that would be a good one. Center Street Studio artists are exhibiting visual arts through August at Howard's on Main. So that's a good one. Through August 29th is the exhibit In Water on Paper. That is at the Art Center. And don't forget that the Road to the Revolution is right next door at the museum. They have a great exhibit chronicling the Road to the Revolution, what part Greenwood County played in it, the Star Fort, how that contributed. All these things are right there. Great place to go visit. And it is open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 5. Here's the thing. It's cool. I mean, like, the temperature is cool. If you need a place to go cool off and get educated, check out the museum. Great place. And as I said, the Princess Tea Party is this Saturday from 11. They have 11 o'clock seating and a 2 o'clock. I believe the 11 o'clock was almost filled or is filled. I'm not sure which, but give them a call, 864-229-7093, and find out. Just a great event and one to have lots of good pictures of. So that's a good one. Princess Tea Party. All right. Kitty Yoga is going on this weekend. That's another thing going on. Saturday at the Humane Society. Make sure you check that out if you are a kitty person and want to check it out. That would be good. What else is going on? I had some other events I wanted to share with you here this morning. Next Saturday, well, Monday evening, Sherry Biggs' Salute to Liberty will be going on up there in Anderson. There's going to be a huge conclave of Republicans, candidates, etc. If you want to rub elbows with lots of candidates, you will be able to. Jim Jordan's going to be there. Steve Scalise is the keynote speaker. And all the candidates from, I'm sure, Alan Wilson, David Stumbo, Darlene, Ralph. I'm sure all of them are going to be there, and they'll all be looking for, how do I get oxygen in this room? Because, it's an opportunity. But she does a great job on this. We did a pop-up interview with her on Monday. That is on Facebook Live now, so if you'd like to go back and watch that and get more details, that is available right there. So make sure you check that out, and if you'd like to go, tickets are available at, I believe it is Salute to Liberty. Check that out, and you will find all the details about that. Sherry Biggs, that is her event. So make sure you find that out. All right, what else do we have going on here this morning? This is afternoon. This morning, we're still in morning. This came across my radar, and I thought, wow, this is kind of cool. The Regal Hall venue over there in Ware Shoals has started doing some kind of cool events. They are doing a Back to 80s mystery dinner party. Da-da-da-da. Yes, who done it? That's right. So it says, grab your neon gear, put on your detective hat, and get ready for an interactive, suspense-filled evening when you help solve the mystery. And so that will be at the Regal Hall venue. It's not until September 25th, but expect that to probably sell out. 6:30 to 9:30. Tickets are $50 per person. Includes curated cocktails, a catered meal, and dessert. Ticket deadline ends September 7th. Limited seating is available. So this is a throwback event to the 1980s. I thought that was pretty cool. You can get I think, at the Regal Hall venue. Go to their website and find it. Let's see, does it say anything else? No, that's what you'll have to do. All right, also, we'll have a lot of events coming up on 9/11. We'll talk about those another day. But coming up out there at the Humane Society, Penny, you want to take this one? Okay. Can't even see you, Penny. Put your head up here. All right. Affordable spay and neuter clinic Thursday, August 27th. Open to all South Carolina and Georgia residents. So they are doing dog vaccines, cat vaccines, other services. They're doing surgeries, cat neuter, rabbit neuter. I didn't know you neutered rabbits. Okay. Dogs. Yep. And they've got that all listed on, I'm sure it's on their website. It's also on their Facebook page. This is in conjunction with Carolina Place Animal Hospital Mobile Spay and Neuter Clinic. But it will be done right there at the Humane Society at their clinic facilities that they have. And they really, it's called, it's almost like speed dating. They do speed neutering and spay and neuter, and they really can do a lot, and it's pretty amazing. So it says text 803-374-8544. That's 803-374-8544. If you want to save yourself money, go ahead and check this out. This is on Thursday, August 27th. I will tell you this, if you're interested, you need to go ahead and sign up quick because the slots sell out on that. So that is for August 27th. Yes, there's about the spreading all the mulch out there. They could use some help with that. We had excellent conversation yesterday afternoon with Rosemary Bell. Well, I think Penny's not going to talk to us this morning. Rosemary Bell and Music for Ministry, that is next Saturday. That is at 5 o'clock, kicks off at New Covenant Church. Tickets are just $30 for a meal, entertainment. It's really a great event. If you want to find out more about it, I recommend that you tune into the Facebook Live we did yesterday. We have it on Facebook Live. We also, if it's not on my website yet, it will be at WCRS 1450am.net. And, you know, I'm not advertising it much because we wanted to make sure everything was working. But we also are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at A Girl and Her Mic. Everything there that I do is listed under A Girl and Her Mic. So make sure you check that out if you just want to listen to it. Great way to do that. So that is, then we have the Veterans. The Veterans Hall of Heroes is next Saturday. There's another great event. I sincerely hope you will come to that to honor our veterans. Approximately 25 veterans will be honored and entered into the Hall of Heroes. If you want to take your kids and yourself or grandkids and go to a patriotic event, this is the event. Starts at 2 o'clock, will last roughly an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes on a Saturday afternoon over there at Greenwood Performing Arts Center at the high school. What a way to honor, but also what a way to teach your children and grandchildren about patriotism and what they gave. Each veteran is highlighted on their service to our country, and it is well worth it to watch them walking across the stage. Of note, the keynote speaker, Attorney General Alan Wilson, who is also a gubernatorial candidate for governor for the great state of South Carolina. He is a colonel in the National Guard, and he is going to be speaking. Also, Sherry Biggs, Representative Sherry Biggs, who is a lieutenant colonel, will be there, as well as other dignitaries. Is there a cost for this? No, it's a free event. We just want you to come and salute our veterans. So please see about doing that. What else have we talked about? Oh, my goodness. All right. We are going to talk about something else here, and then I'm going to give it up. Just checking out, making sure I haven't missed anything this morning. We are getting ready, not this Saturday, next Saturday, we will be giving away a free breakfast for a bunch. I mention that because it's time for you to get your information in to see if your group will win breakfast for a bunch. This is a combo effort between WCRS and Chick-fil-A. So please make sure that you are checking that out and doing that. That would be a great way to find out what is going on. So, have I got anything else here? Have I got anything else I want to talk about? If I could get the phone to cooperate, maybe. Also, I forgot to mention, Alan Wilson is a gubernatorial candidate. On next Saturday, he will also, after the ceremony at Greenwood High, he will be over at Fat Daddy's from roughly 3:30 to 4:30. It's just a stopover, but it's a meet and greet with Alan Wilson at Fat Daddy's, brought to you by the Greenwood Republican Party. So that would be another opportunity for you to talk to a candidate who is running for office. So I think you need to take advantage of all these opportunities because it's going to start heating up. It's not really started heating up yet, but it's going to start heating up. And so I hope you will take advantage of these opportunities that come along. I think we are about finished here today. Do you have anything to say, Penny? Do you have anything to say? Come on, say something to me this morning. You got anything to say? I don't have anything to say. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to finish up here today. Don't forget to tune in at 5 o'clock today. Lisa Sanders, who is Executive Director of Greenwood Performing Arts, will be joining us to reveal their season. So make sure you are in attendance, and they'll have season ticket prices and all this coming up. But a great part of Greenwood, been there for more than 80 years. 80 years this organization has been through changes, but they have survived and reinvented themselves as we all need to do. So, without further ado, I'm going to say, keep it cool, Greenwood. Keep it cool. Make sure you think of your pets out there, but keep it cool. Don't stay out in the heat any longer than you need to. And if you have any lung problems, allergies, or whatever, stay out of the heat. A final note, I might bring this point up. They said what did they say? When it gets over 95 degrees, that a fan doesn't really help. I don't know why they say that, but it can actually make you hotter, is what I read. So I only put that out there for people particularly that do not have air conditioning in their homes, but do deal with fans. Make sure you check on those people because they need some extra care during this big, big heat. That, my friends, is going to do it for us. We are going to drop the curtain. We are going to find the music to close us out. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.